Hey there, Dr. Karen Can with another edition of the Spiritual Medicine Digest for the week of June 26th, 2017. Lots of really cool stuff this week. The first thing is I may have mentioned in other videos that we have multiple different kind of systems that run our bodies, energetic bodies, spiritual bodies, etc. So there are many systems, many of which I don't know the names of, and we kind of make up names as we go when we discover them. But there seems to be something that I call the master controller. So the master controller is like your systems management person. So the master controller seems to be located somewhere here in the upper chest area. It's part of your energetic anatomy, although I'm not really familiar with what it is. Like, it's not your soul seed, it's not the fourth chakra, it's not the assemblage beam, it's not the astral assemblage beam, it's not an acupuncture point, it's not an interdimensional portal, although it interacts with the interdimensional portals. So maybe you know what it is, and maybe you can comment down below in my YouTube video page, like what this thing is. I can test it. Anyway, but this master controller sits around the thymus area, although it's not the thymus. And it helps to manage all these systems. So instead of necessarily doing individual system reboots, you can actually, for the most part, heal the master controller, restore it, and many of your systems will come back online automatically. Occasionally there'll be one or two that are lagging behind, and you'll need to do whatever healing using the Tolpacan healing guides to figure out why those systems are lagging and not completely rebooting perfectly. So the master controller, you can check with Tolpacan healing using the divine muscle testing technique and check how happy is my master controller of all my systems. And you get a percentage out of 100. And then you can do a command, directive, and you can say if it's not 100%, it is now commanded that my master controller, all my systems, be restored to full and optimal health and balance in the highest and best way. And that the universal shield be created and downloaded to this controller to protect it in all realities, all timelines, and all dimensions with ease and grace. Thank you. So I just added in the universal shield. You might as well, right? Shielded, because I did find on one occasion that the master controller was being attacked by entities. So so we're just, expanding our universal shield to make sure we include the master controller. So if you actually check how many systems are not fully balanced and healthy, and you get a pre and then post after healing the master controller, you might find that many of the other systems are now balancing on its own without necessarily having to heal those systems specifically. But sometimes you may need to, and that's where the Tolpacan healing guides can be very helpful to figure out why they're not healing, because maybe source needs you to know something before they'll go ahead and heal. Now, the other interesting thing is that this week the emotional processing system, yes, we have a system for that, that seems to have been clogged, or there seems to have be some lagging behind, maybe because of some of the ascension upgrades we've been going through. The emotional processing system has needed some help, extra help. So check your emotional processing system and make sure that it's 100% efficient and happy. And that many of your systems, even though they might be 100% happy, may need to be upgraded with ascension events, because we can go to a higher vibration and do things even more efficiently and even more amazingly than before. So there is something that I call the system upgrader. All these funny terms. Anyway, the system upgrader can automatically upgrade these systems to the optimal functioning. So for example, we've noticed for some people as they expand that they've had to expand certain body parts or anatomy parts to upgrade them, like the horror line to have a bigger capacity. For example, the auric field, same thing. So instead of necessarily doing these individually, if you check if your system's upgrader is 100% happy and balanced at all times, you can check that for a few days in a row, make sure it keeps 100%. Then sometimes these systems will upgrade on their own. You don't necessarily need to check them and upgrade them manually one at a time. So that has been a really great shortcut. And we want, of course, that system upgrader to also be protected by the universal shield. And so your master controller and system upgrader are intimately connected, and also your master controller be intimately and optimally connected to all your systems. So you can check those connections as well, making sure they're nice and strong and happy. You want those 100% happy. If not, you can use the Topocan Healing Directive and repair them in an instant. The other thing that's been interesting is this week, a lot of people have needed positive electromagnetic frequencies from Mother Earth. So as we change, as Mother Earth changes, because we're human, we're in a human body, we want to stay in connection with Mother Earth and evolve with her, in conjunction with her. So if you're not going outside and you're not putting your bare skin somewhere on the earth, whether it be bare feet on the ground, or hugging a tree, or touching a plant, or gardening, or, putting your hand in the water, or swimming in the lake, something like that, you may really want to, because there are beneficial energies that come from Mother Earth that you will not get just from, having an earthing mat, or a vibes up mat, or something, like that, which is a great alternative. But there are many, many thousands and millions of subtle energies in Mother Earth that you can benefit from. And as she shifts and changes, these vibrations go up as well. So I think it's really good to equilibrate your physical body with these positive electromagnetic frequencies and other subtle energy frequencies. So do go outside as much as you can. Doesn't require a long period of time. Maybe 5 minutes is enough. But just make a point to do that, because some people get kind of locked into their routine and they actually don't remember to do that. I know it's hard to do that in the middle of winter, but over here in the Western continent here, we are in the summer, so really no excuses for us not to connect with Mother Earth. So please do that. Now, the intuitive guidance system, which is one of your many systems, that has been coming online for many people. So many people are noticing spiritual gifts that have suddenly, opened up. That also means extra sensitivity sometimes with things that you may not need to know about. So the intuitive guidance system, interestingly, can be rewired. So you can ask, for example, I had a little pain flare up the other day, and when I was asking why this was going on, I found out that I was getting intuitive information through my intuitive guidance system, that there was something going on in another universe that really didn't have anything to do with me. And here's the trick, it was not my job to heal. Was not my job to heal. So the intuitive guidance system is getting this extra information. So one of the things I did was I created a firewall. So a firewall in computers is sort of like, a firewall prevents, things hacking and things interfering with your computer that that might cause your computer to crash, viruses, things like that. Well, in this case, what we're doing is we're putting a firewall around our intuitive guidance system for each timeline where we exist, so that the intuitive information that we're getting, because we're getting all more sensitive, right? The intuitive information that we're getting is really relevant to our timeline and not to the alternate timelines. Occasionally there are information from alternate timelines that we do need to know about, and those will still come through. But the firewall, let's check, just say, hey, if you've been using my Ascension 1s and 2s, if you've been using my deep healing programs with the Light Warrior Advanced Healing Program that I launched in May, you will have this automatically updated already in your MP3. So as you use it, that will help to build that firewall around your intuitive guidance system, so you're not getting so much intuitive information from all other timelines and anything else that is not relevant to you. So when people are having difficulty sleeping or physical body pains that don't seem to get better no matter what they do, ask, how much of this symptom represents intuitive information that I'm getting, and then get a percentage, and then ask what percentage of that intuitive information is information that is irrelevant to my life and well-being in this timeline. So if you get a huge number there, then you want to make sure your firewall is 100% intact, and check that for a couple days in a row, make sure it stays intact. And if it doesn't, you can go ahead and do a Topocan healing command and directive to heal it and heal anything preventing it from being 100% at all times. And of course, if you need to know something, Source wants you to know something, you can turn to the Topocan Healing Guides 1, 2, or 3 to figure out what it is that Source wants you to know before that firewall stays at 100% intact. The other thing you do is rewire the intuitive guidance system. So what I did yesterday, because I was having this mini pain flare-up, I said to myself, wow, a lot of the stuff that I'm feeling is stuff going on in, you know, the universe that it's not my job, believe it or not, to heal for once. This was entity related activity. Now, of course, I could still send healing there, but I really do not want to feel pain because there are entities, you know, working whatever they're doing, or they're in pain and I'm feeling their pain, you know, in the rest of the universe. So what I did was I rewired the intuitive guidance system to ignore irrelevant information, intuitive information that is not my job to deal with. So you can do that too. So what you can do is just ask, you know, is my intuitive guidance system giving me any intuitive information that's irrelevant from any timeline, even this timeline, that I do not need to know about? And if you get a yes, you can go ahead and command that it be rewired. So it's now commanded that my intuitive guidance system be rewired to only give me intuitive information for what is relevant for my highest and greatest good in this timeline. Thank you. So pretty simple. So hopefully you can sleep better and your pain will go away. Mine certainly was a lot better after that. And you may have to work on each body part sometimes specifically because there's maybe some extra messages there you do need to know about, or you need to create a healthy boundary about. So again, the Topocan Healing Guides will be very helpful for you to divine muscle test what's going on if you need to know more. Okay, so let's see what else I was going to share with you. One more system. Now, I'm calling this a source code management system because your source codes are coming in through your different bodies, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, energetic, dimensional, etc., rewiring you, upgrading you. And if you translate and integrate those codes quickly, you probably won't really have a lot of symptoms. For me, physical, and for many people, physical is the biggest challenge. So if the source codes come in super fast, especially for us star seeds, then we end up with some lymphatic swelling, because the lymph is how these codes kind of go to every part of our body to start switching our bodies from the physical into the light body. And that's a very simplistic explanation, but I'm just going to explain it that way right now. So what I was not able to slow down the source code downloads for a while. And I thought maybe we weren't supposed to, but I did ask Source, can we just create a source code management system? So this system would actually work on integrating and translating the source codes in all the bodies optimally, efficiently. So then we can do just healing around that and just ask that that system be healed. So check in, how efficient is my source code management system working? Okay, you want that to be 100%. And so you can also check each, subsystem in case. So how efficient is the source codes being translated and integrating in my physical body? Get a number for that out of 100%. Mental body, emotional body, an energetic body, spiritual body, dimensional body, etc. And if it's not 100%, ask if you need to know more. If you don't, then go ahead and just do a directive and heal your source code management system and all components to full and optimal efficiency in the highest and best way. And after I did that, then Source allowed me to slow the speed of the codes coming in. And I do feel that it is helpful. I do feel like I'm less overall swollen now that the source codes are coming in a little bit slower. But I was not allowed to slow it down until I figured out this whole source code management system. So I hope that helps you. For those of you that have any sort of symptoms at all related to ascension, especially if you have lymphatic swelling or pain. So if you missed my radio show on Monday with David Schmidt, the Lifewave CEO, about the Nirvana system, the Nirvana Phototherapy patch, and the supplements, you can definitely listen to the replay now. I find it very spiritually interesting. He mentioned something about spirituality in there as well. That when it was first released, I got an intuitive hit that there were some entities that were trying to interfere with the patch release. And what was happening is that for certain people, that entities definitely did not want, those beta endorphins to go up. That they were trying to produce a canceling frequency. So in other words, the patch would work on that person, but then they would try to beam in like a canceling frequency so that it wouldn't work. So we caught that really early, right away actually, and we were able to neutralize that. So now that we know that that has been the attempt, two things have come out of it. One is that we can block that attempt, so woohoo, especially if if you're on my Light Warrior group, if you're using Ascension 1s and 2s or the deep healings, you are already protected. So, so it's not a big deal. The second thing we learned is that this must be important. So if entities are involved to try to thwart this, it must be important. So what happens if all these people use Nirvana and become happier, more settled, less stressed? Oh my goodness, then entities don't have too much to feed off of, will they? So this is a huge threat, I think, to entities, which is why they didn't like it, and they wanted to, thwart it. So I do believe it's pretty important. Now, I'm usually pretty even-keeled and, not that I'm blissed out all the time, but I have this general level of, happiness. So for me personally, it's been, a couple of weeks. Have I noticed huge differences in my happiness level? No. Although, my patience is really good too, generally as well. So for me, it was very, very subtle. But for other people that have been trying it, we've got some really interesting feedback about, how they never dream and now they're dreaming and it's really deep, and they used to get stressed out over certain things and now they don't, and they come back from vacation really stressed out and now they don't. And so I think it's really cool. So see if it resonates with you. Listen to that show. We'll post the link below in the YouTube channel so you can listen to that show. Next week's show is also going to be about Lifewave because it's the first Monday of each month, and Dr. Dennis Lobstein and I are going to be doing advanced protocols with the Lifewave phototherapy patches. And his idea, which I thought was great because it's summer here in this part of the hemisphere of the world, how would you protect yourself from overexposure to the sun or the radiating effects of the sun without using all that gloppy, toxic sunscreen? Yeah, sunscreens are toxic. There are a few that aren't, but most of them are toxic. So he's going to show us how we can use the Lifewave patches to not only help protect our skin from this kind of radiation, but also what if you do get a sunburn, then what you can do to help support your body's natural healing to heal it much faster. And this has been really great. I've used it. So we're going to ask Dr. Dennis all that, and you can ask him questions as well. Any Lifewave question at all, and you can get his and my expertise on that. Lastly, we did this last time and I think it went pretty well. So as long as I don't get overwhelmed, if you are new to Lifewave, you haven't tried it before, you're interested in trying it, you want to see if it's right for you, if you get on the chat, I'm more than happy to, during the show with Dr. Dennis, muscle test you, divine muscle test you to see if it's for the highest and greatest good. Now, one could argue like, wow, Dr. Karen, you sell the stuff, so of course you're going to say yes. Well, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I've turned people back. I've turned somebody away that wanted to spend $500 on the stuff, and I said, I'm sorry, but most of your issues are spiritual. So you got to address that first before this phototherapy stuff is going to work for you, because your spiritual stuff is going to block, some of this other stuff. So sometimes it happens. Anyway, but if you do want to test me, you can get on the chat and ask me to test you to see if patches would be appropriate for you, and then if so, which ones. I'll be more than happy to do that. And like I've been mentioning about the Topocan healing guides 1, 2, and 3. I've also been mentioning about the Ascension 1s and 2s and the deep healing programs. So those programs are available on my website. We'll post those links below for those of you that are new. But they're really great self-healing tools that you can use that have infused energy, Topocan healing energies. And I keep updating these and upgrading these as we go. As we get more ascension energies, they become more powerful. We do these upgrades almost every week, if not more than every week. So you do not need to re-download your MP3s or your MP4s. They will automatically get updated. Okay, so check out those programs if you haven't already, and you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do that as well so you don't miss a single episode of the Spiritual Medicine Digest. And for some free healing gifts, if you're not part of my tribe, why don't you go to KarenCan.com and put your name and email address in there, and I'd love to send you some free gifts, including my very popular clearing and protection spray formula. Okay, have a wonderful rest of the week, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye for now.